Universe 7. It's been a long time since the tournament between universes. Scattered around the world, our Z warriors are focused on their training. After all, they managed to see that there are extremely powerful beings spread across the universes. In an inhospitable place on planet Earth, Gohan and Piccolo are doing hard training. Between the frozen mountains, the two let their power explode. Gohan, with his bestial transformation active, faces Piccolo in his new form. They engage in an intense battle. Piccolo taunts Gohan by saying, "Gohan, you will never beat me like this. You need to trust your potential. It's no use getting a new transformation if you don't have the courage to use all the power it has." And then Gohan answers, "Mr. Piccolo, I don't want to end up accidentally killing you." And then Piccolo counters by saying, "That's why you will lose." Piccolo flies towards Gohan. Using his incredible speed, he throws a punch that hits him in the belly, then hits a kick throwing him towards a mountain that explodes. Several pieces of rocks are thrown in all directions. Gohan recovers in moments from the impact. Gohan throws several rocks towards Piccolo, who hits each one with his fists. He was distracted, avoiding being hit by a rain of stones which came towards him. When Gohan advances towards him, landing a punch in his face, causing the impact to destroy several mountains and threw him away. Alright partner, why don't you whack that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos and stay well inside our entire universe of Dragon Ball. Let's get back to the point. Meanwhile, at the Kame-sama temple, Dende watches the world and says to Mr. Popo,
"It seems that Earth's warriors have an absurd level of power."
Mr. Popo answers him by saying, "That's right, Kame-sama. I think the most powerful warriors in the universe are here on Earth right now." At that moment, Dende asks,
"Are those two still training in the time room?"
Mr. Popo says with concern, "Goku and Vegeta are still training. They will probably leave soon. I just hope that this time, Vegeta doesn't destroy everything again." In the room of time, Vegeta and Goku are fighting. Goku, with his superior instinct, can easily dodge Vegeta's attacks, who is using his full power Super Saiyan transformation, and he can't even land a hit. After a few tries, Vegeta exclaims angrily, "Damn Kakarot! Stop running and start fighting for real!" Goku then responds, "You're not even using all of your power, Vegeta. Let's go, use everything you have. I promise I will fight seriously." Vegeta then smiles, and with sarcasm he says, "Oh, Kakarot, so you want to see all my power? You will regret ordering this." In that second, Vegeta starts to gather his ki and reaches his Ultra form, Ego, shooting towards Goku. Finally managing to land a punch, Goku quickly retaliates with a kick, hitting him. The two engage in an intense battle at that moment. Planet Bills. On the planet of Bills, Whis is delighted with the pudding which he had won from Bulma. He was eating quietly sitting next to some bushes when he suddenly feels a presence, and when he slowly looks back, he sees Bills, very close to his face with eyes wide and an expression of rage. Whis is startled and Beerus screams, "Whis, why are you sneaking pudding again?" Whis tries to explain himself by making a fool of himself, hiding the pudding behind his back with his mouth full, shaking his head no. Furious, Beerus speaks, "I can't believe this. Give me a piece of that pudding now." Beerus tries to get the pudding, but Whis won't let him, when suddenly the two feel a presence. Then they kneel down. The Supreme Priest appears before them, announcing the arrival of the great Zeno-sama. Meanwhile, several warriors from countless different universes are training hard, with the hope of one day being able to face the warriors of Universe 7 again. Jiren and Toppo train together on an uninhabited planet where they can use all their powers. Jiren uses his new skills and tops his power as an apprentice god of destruction. Hit meditates in an empty place with the appearance of a moon. He trains his concentration in order to reach new limits to his powers and expand his time jump. The Saiyans of the planet Sadala observe, while Kale and Cauliflower manage to reach the stage of Super Saiyan level 3. They are fighting against Kiabe, who managed to evolve his powers a lot, even if he still cannot reach them. Several warriors are dedicating themselves to the maximum to be able to evolve their powers and be prepared whenever necessary. Back to planet Beerus, the High Priest begins to say, Lord Zeno-sama is very dissatisfied with the performance of all the gods of destruction. He believes that they are not up to the task and that the mortals who fought in the tournament of power are far better suited. Zeno-sama is in no doubt whether all gods should survive. At that moment, Beerus panics and responds, Supreme Priest, forgive me, but the mortals who were presented in the tournament of power cannot replace the gods. After all, they are much less powerful than us. After that, Daishinkan responds by saying, You are wrong, Mr. Beerus. In some universes, some of those mortals have already surpassed the powers of their respective gods. And I believe that even here in Universe 7, some warriors have already managed to reach it. Beerus is in disbelief and he thinks to himself, It's not possible. Zeno-sama then starts to say,
All you gods have a job, but they're not doing what they have to do. So I guess I'm going to have to erase you, right?
Beerus at that moment goes into despair and says, Wait, Zeno-sama, I beg. Whis then interrupts saying, Zeno-sama, I think you have a much better idea than that, don't you? Then Zeno responds,
Yes, I thought of something that will be really fun.
Back to Universe 7 in the Room of Time. Goku and Vegeta are exhausted from training. Goku, satisfied with their performance, looks at Vegeta and says, Oh, Vegeta, this time we managed to overcome our limits, right? Vegeta answers him, Shut up, Kakarot. You still don't understand. We have no limits. We are Saiyans. Goku laughs and says, Haha, if you're saying it, I'll believe it then. Shall we eat something? Soon our training here is over, and I want to go to Beerus's planet to start training with Master Whis again. Vegeta responds, Come on, I'm hungry too. Meanwhile, Piccolo and Gohan finish their training in the mountains. Piccolo tells Gohan, You have become very strong. Soon you will be able to overcome your father's powers. Gohan responds by saying, I think I'm still a long way from reaching you, Mr. Piccolo. At that moment, Piccolo closes his eyes and smiles, and then looks at Gohan and says, Vegeta and Goku will leave the Room of Time soon. Shall we find them? Gohan watches and agrees, and then the two fly at full speed towards Kami-sama's temple. Back at the Kami-sama temple, Dende and Mr. Popo wait for Goku and Vegeta to leave the Room of Time when they feel an unknown key approaching. They suddenly observe the warrior Granola approaching. When they get there, Granola says,
Are Goku and Vegeta here?
Dende then answers him, Yes, they are in the time room. They're training there, but they're leaving any minute. But what are you doing here? Granola responds, I was training in another galaxy when I got the message from Mr. Whis saying to come to Earth to find them. At that moment, Gohan and Piccolo arrive at the temple facing Granola. A few minutes later, Goku and Vegeta leave the Room of Time and everyone watches, impressed with the increase in power they had achieved. Goku sees Granola and asks, What are you doing here on Earth? When Granola goes to answer, he is interrupted by Whis, who appears before them and says, I need you to come with me now. Zeno-sama wants to talk to everyone. Nobody understands anything, and Goku asks, But what does Lord Zeno want with us? Whis responds, Soon you will know. Just come with me to planet Beerus. Everyone watches. Whis approaches looking at everyone, and he takes all the warriors to Beerus's planet. Meanwhile, in a distant galaxy, in an unknown universe, a dark presence is detected, and in the midst of darkness, a voice is heard that says, It looks like a new tournament is about to start. Everyone arrives on the planet of destruction. However, Daishinkan and Zeno-sama were no longer there with Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo, and Granola. They are confused. They look around trying to understand what was going on. At that moment, they see Beerus with his head down, walking from one side to the other, muttering incessantly. How did this happen? How could it get to this point? Curse! Irritated and not knowing what he should do, Beerus was in total agony before the situation that would happen. Everyone approaches and Beerus looks at them angrily and says, "Finally, you arrived. We have to go soon." Goku asks at that moment, "Why are you so stressed, Mr. Beerus? Did Whis eat all that pudding Bulma sent him?" Beerus responds, "You damn shut up. I have nothing to say to you." At that moment, Goku is startled by Beerus's reaction and complains in a low voice, "But what did I do this time?" Whis looks at everyone and says, "It's time to go, guys. Let's go to the temple of the great Zeno-sama. He has a message to make." No one can understand and everyone is watching. Gohan says, "Why should we go to Zeno's temple? What's going on?" Whis responds, "When we get there, you will know everything." Everyone approaches and Whis speaks. "Are you all ready? Let's go then." They head towards Zeno-sama's temple. Somewhere in the galaxy, we see Frieza's ship. Wandering in space, screams of fear and despair are heard. In one of the rooms of the ship, Frieza was training using his common form, just facing some of his soldiers. Amidst laughter, Frieza exclaims,
"This warm-up will keep me from getting out of shape. Since I was revived by Whis, I haven't had a good fight."
One of his subordinates with tears in his eyes says, "Lord Frieza, your power is unmatched. Mere soldiers like us don't stand a chance. I beg you, don't exterminate us." At that moment, Frieza shoots a blast of lasers at the soldier's chest, killing him in seconds, and with a smile on his face, he says,
"I am a very merciful being. After all, I just took your life instead of forcing you to suffer facing me in combat. Don't you agree?"
Frieza says, looking at another of his soldiers who was next to him. The soldier looks at his companion's body and in a panic begins to stutter as he says, "Yes, Mr. Frieza, Emperor of the Universe, you are the most powerful and merciful being in existence. Please don't hurt me." Frieza looks at him, makes a very serious face and approaches. At that moment, he says,
"Right now I am one of the most powerful beings in the universe, but I still haven't reached the top of the hierarchy. I need more power. But fighting vermin like you, I'll never get over those bastards."
Frieza punches the soldier, then splits him in half with his bare hands. Frieza smiles and reflects a little. At that moment, relieved with his subordinate's blood running through his fingers, he says,
"But it's so simple. I just need to train a little harder so I can overcome my powers, take revenge on those nasty Saiyans and become the most powerful."
He starts to laugh. At that moment, Frieza had just decided to find a planet that supports him using all his power, so he can get even greater powers. And then his ship starts moving quickly and disappears into the void of space. Returning to the Z Warriors during the journey to Zeno-sama's palace, everyone is silent. However, Beerus had sweat streaming down his face. Piccolo looks at him seriously. Vegeta, with his grumpy face, just closes his eyes and crosses his arms. Goku was the only one who seemed to be excited and starts to say, "Oh, finally! I'm going to see Zeno-sama again. It's been so long since I've seen him. What does he want to talk to us about? I'm so excited. I have a great feeling." Whis watches from the corner of his eye and lets out a slight smile. A few seconds later, Whis speaks. "We arrived. Everyone behave in the presence of the great lord. Zeno, especially you, Mr. Goku. Looks like he's not in such a good mood." Goku doesn't understand and pokes around just looking. They stop in front of the temple and are met by Zeno's guards that take them inside to reach a room that had been prepared for this meeting. They walk down a long corridor with a light at the end. During the trajectory, there is a deafening silence, hearing only the sound of everyone's footsteps. When they reach the end of the corridor, they enter a gigantic room, and in the middle, they see Zeno-sama. When looking to the sides, they can see the angels and the gods of destruction from other universes, along with some warriors from those same universes. Goku is all excited to see faces that he was already familiar with. Jiren, Dispo, Toppo, and Hit were there. Beerus observes and says to Goku, "Hey idiot, don't do anything stupid. We're not here to be eliminated by Zeno-sama." They approach and bow to Zeno. In Universe 7, in a distant galaxy, located near the end of the universe next to the barrier that crosses Universes 6 and 7, Frieza has just arrived on a gigantic planet composed of extremely resistant rocks made of a material known as Kachin, extremely resistant. This material was the same that had been used in the arena of the Tournament of Power in the confines of this planet we saw. Frieza expanding his ki to the maximum, destroying several mountains with his fist. His overwhelming power had already increased exponentially. Frieza laughs and says,
"The more I practice, the more I can adapt and get used to my powers. How far can I get if I keep training?"
Frieza assumes his form of Black Frieza, causing the planet to shudder. His power overflows and grows more and more. His powers reach an absurdly destructive level. Meanwhile, in Zeno-sama's palace, several warriors were gathered. Warriors from several universes, among them the warriors of Universe 7. At that moment, Daishinkan approaches and says,
"Warriors, we gather here today for an important communique. A communique in which we will decide to replace all gods of destruction in all universes."
All the gods that are there in an uproar muttering among themselves. Daishinkan then continues to say,
"Zeno is dissatisfied with the performance of all the gods, so he makes a decision."
At that moment, he gets extremely serious and with dark eyes says,
"We will create a new Tournament of Power."
At that moment, Goku, without thinking twice, raises his arms and screams,
"All right!"
Everyone angrily glares at Goku in anger at his reaction. Daishinkan then says,
"Calm down, gentlemen. The announcement is not over yet. This tournament will differ from the last one. It will be held between gods and mortals where there will be a fight at a time, like Zeno-sama. He had been able to follow each fight more carefully. A group containing the 12 most powerful mortals of all universes will be needed to face the 12 gods of destruction. We will fight one-on-one, and the god of destruction that emerges victorious in his combat will keep his title. But the one who is defeated will have its existence erased by Zeno-sama."
All the gods are scared watching. At that moment, Gohan asks,
"What will happen to the mortals who are defeated?"
Daishinkan responds,
"Those mortals who are defeated will be erased along with all their loved ones. Everyone who is selected will have an obligation to participate. Otherwise, they will definitely be deleted as well. This is an extremely important tournament, so we cannot accept that someone decides not to participate. But those who are victorious receive the honor of replacing the god who was eliminated, becoming the god of destruction of the universes in which that deity operated. That is, the conquering mortals became the new gods of destruction."
Everyone is apprehensive at that moment. The gods of destruction are scared with no reaction, just looking. Daishinkan goes on to explain,
"These battles between gods and mortals will be the main part of the tournament. However, before deciding the orders of battles, we will hold an event where several powerful mortals will face each other so that we can decide which will be the best 12 to face the gods. And that will be the great tournament of the gods of destruction. All who are present here must participate in the qualifiers among mortals. With that, I advise you to go back to your universes and recruit powerful warriors, and within 15 days we will start to make eliminations among mortals."
Everyone is stunned by the announcement. Even Goku, who at first was excited, now had a serious and scared expression. Looking at Beerus, Goku looks and says sadly, "Mr. Beerus." Beerus tells everyone, "Let's go home. We need to gather the warriors who will participate." Beerus has apparently accepted everything, and without showing any reaction, he gathers everyone close to Whis and decides to return to Universe 7. Back in Universe 7, Whis leaves the warriors on Earth. A strange climate takes over at that moment when silence is the only thing that can be heard, amidst sighs and looks of confusion. All the Universe 7 warriors who are there are thoughtful. In thought, Gohan says while watching Goku, "Papa, even you are apprehensive about this new tournament. We will have no choice, we need to fight. But facing Mr. Beerus after all we've been through?" Whis tells everyone in that instant, "We've arrived on planet Earth. I'll leave you here. I will return to the planet of destruction. I need to console Lord Beerus. I think he's not very well with the news we received. From now on, I'll leave you with the task of recruiting more warriors who can participate in the tournament qualifiers. Bye-bye, see you later." At that very moment, he returns to the planet of destruction. Goku was thoughtful and apprehensive. Vegeta, as always angry, says, "Kakarot, do you have a plan yet?" Goku responds, "Not yet, Vegeta. I wanted to fight strong guys, but I can't get excited like this." Vegeta then responds, "I think you better start feeling excited, because otherwise, this time the whole universe will be erased." Goku then observes his friends and responds, "We don't have a choice, do we? We're going after the most powerful warriors who can convince them to participate. I already have a few people in mind." Gohan asks, "Are you going after Frieza again, Daddy?" Goku looks at Gohan and says, "I don't know if this time it would be a good idea to call Frieza, because if he wins, he becomes a god of destruction of some universe, and who knows, even ours. And knowing Frieza, I think this would not be a good idea. But I haven't ruled out the possibility yet. I'll think about it a bit. But first, I'm going to go to that guy." At that time, Goku looks at Vegeta, who can understand what Goku means, and then exclaims, "Is Kakarot sure he's going after that guy? He can barely control himself. In a martial arts tournament like this, can he lose consciousness and screw up?" Goku, in an attempt to reassure Vegeta, speaks, "Don't worry, I'm sure he can control himself by now. And he's very powerful. Even you've already taken a beating from him, don't you remember, Vegeta?" Everyone looks scared, and Vegeta is embarrassed to say, "Shut up, worm! I didn't get a spanking. I wasn't fighting with all my powers. If not, I would have ended up with him." Gohan at that moment, not understanding who they were talking about, asks, "Who are you talking about, Daddy?" And Goku answers, "I'm talking about Broly. He's a very powerful guy." Piccolo looks at Goku with a serious look and asks, "Are you sure, Goku?" And Goku responds, "We don't have choices. I'm going after him right now." Goku places his fingers on his forehead and uses his teleportation. At this point, we return to Frieza, amid thousands of wreckage on that inhospitable planet. Finishing his training with Gaffors hallucinated, he exclaims,
"Ha ha ha! This magnificent power is overflowing from me. I'm sure the next time I meet those damn Saiyans, I'll be able to show them the true terror of Black Frieza."
Frieza had gained unimaginable powers at this point by adapting and controlling his new transformation. At this exact moment, Frieza gets his face serious and says,
"The great emperor of the universe will have his revenge."
Meanwhile, on the planet of destruction, Lord Whis tries to console Lord Beerus. Walking back and forth following Beerus, Whis starts to say, "Mr. Beerus, please calm down. This way you'll end up having a fit." And Beerus responds, "Whis, having a panic attack would be way better than being wiped out by Zeno-sama." At that moment, Whis stops, puts his hand on his mouth, and with a sarcastic tone speaks, So it means that you, the mighty god of destruction of Universe 7, look like this because you're afraid of losing to a mortal and being eliminated by Zeno-sama. Beerus widens his eyes and embarrassed says, "But of course, I would never be defeated by any mortal." Whis starts to laugh, bends down looking at Beerus's face and says, "So why are you so worried? If you're so sure you're not going to lose, you shouldn't be in such bad shape." Beerus is furious in silence, just looking at Whis. On a distant planet, we can see Broly and his friends watching the sky. Chilai looks at Broly with a passionate look and stares at him without even blinking. Broly then looks at her and asks, "What is it? You keep looking at me." She gets her cheeks flushed and with an embarrassed tone she says,
"And who said I was looking at you?"
At that moment, with his teleportation, Goku arrives on the planet and while saying, "Hi everyone." "Hey Broly, I need to talk to you." Everyone gets scared and is surprised. At that instant, angry Chilai says,
"Hey asshole, what are you doing here? Already wanting to fight Broly again? Are you an idiot or what?"
Goku answers, "I would even like to fight him more, and that now is a slightly different subject. The fate of the universe is at stake. I need him to participate in a martial arts tournament." Everyone looks on without understanding anything, and there is a strange silence in the air until Broly talks.
What? A martial arts tournament?
Goku starts laughing and replies, "I'll explain everything to you." On planet Earth, Gohan, Piccolo, and Granola, along with Vegeta, begin to make plans for their respective training. Vegeta says that he plans to train in the Room of Time, and that if anyone wants to train there, they'll have to wait for him to leave. Gohan then says, "Mr. Piccolo, can we train together? While Mr. Vegeta trains in the Room of Time, later we will train there too." Granola interrupts them by asking,
"What is this Room of Time that you're talking about so much?"
Piccolo responds, "A place where time passes differently. A day here is equivalent to a year there." Granola understands and says,
"Can I join you?"
In the other universes, several warriors are informed of what was happening in Universe 6 on the planet Sadala. The Saiyans gather to continue with their training. Kale, Kiabe, and Cauliflower were summoned to participate. Elsewhere in the galaxy, Hit had already received the announcement. In Universe 11, they will rotate and their friends will also attend. Several warriors from various universes received the invitation through an angel sent by the High Priest, except those who were present at the meeting. In this way, on Frieza's ship, he also receives the invitation. A small angel appears before his throne, saying the following words.
"Warrior of Universe 7, you have just been summoned to the tournament of the gods of destruction, where the one who will replace the god of your universe will be decided. Your presence is indispensable. Those summoned who do not attend will have the honor of having their existence erased by Zeno-sama with the presence of all."
Then the angel disappears. At this moment, the evil emperor starts to laugh and talks.
Time! Then the great powerful Frieza got a chance to become a supreme deity. This is indeed very interesting.
Returning to land, we observe the Z warriors gathered from the time of Kami-sama. At that moment, Goku with his teleportation arrives bringing Broly and his friends together with him. Gohan is curious to see Broly, and then he thinks,
I mean, this is the powerful guy my dad said I'm going to test if his rottenness really is that big.
Gohan approaches calmly and says, "Hi, I'm Son Gohan, son of Son Goku, and my father said that you are very powerful. Could you show us some of your powers?" Piccolo and Vegeta are scared and surprised by Gohan's actions, thinking that Broly could lose control of his powers when trying to show him. At that moment, Piccolo says, "Gohan, I don't think it's wise because he doesn't control his powers." Broly then says,
"Don't worry, friends. Even if I don't control 100%, I can already contain myself. Let's start."
To be continued. Will Gohan and Broly face off in a battle? What are Frieza's plans? What will happen in this new tournament now? Regardless of what it is, it's more than important that you share your thoughts in the comments below so we can get into a crazy debate. Whack that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. That's all there is to it, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Goodbye.